I am like literally shaking and I do not know why, but all right, let's get into it. What is up, my serotonin searchers, my search committee members? Welcome back to the Search for Serotonin podcast. This is your host, Carolyn Farrick, and I promise you, I am not dead. I am here, I am alive, and I am back after months and months of taking a much needed and what I thought was going to be very permanent break. I know I was telling you guys when I left in February that I would be back. It would be a short break. It'd only be a month or two. It's been like 3 months at this point. And really internally, I thought, that was the end of my podcasting journey. I was feeling really defeated at the end of February, and I just didn't feel inspired with the podcast anymore. I was just kind of in this state of self-deprecation and a lot of judgment and self-loathing. Even though I was trying to work on self-compassion, it just got to a point to be too much, which is why I took the break. And I'm so glad I took the break. I am so glad that I took this time offline for these past couple months to really just focus on me, because my life was a little crazy. And like I said, I didn't think I'd be sitting back down to start this podcast again, but this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, 2023, I felt really inspired to sit down and record, and I felt like I wanted to actually say something to all of you out there. So that is why I am here, and I'm back with my microphone. So I'll get into what inspired me to start podcasting again in a little, but briefly, I did want to touch on February at the time when I ended the podcast. Like I said, I was self-deprecating. I was comparing myself to a bunch of people online. Realistically, my business was failing. So I also needed to take this break to get my shit together, figure out what I wanted to do. I was on the brink of turning 26 at that point, and not having health insurance was freaking me out. So I had to figure that out and find a plan that would work best for me so I could continue to live and continue to sustain myself. And I really don't want to go super in depth into what I did from February until now, which is May 28th, so almost June. So like 3 months. A lot has changed on my end. A lot has changed in my life offline. A lot of big, crazy, major life changes. These past couple months have just been absolute chaos. And the reason I wanted to take the break from the podcast was to make all of these things happen, not only in my career and my professional life, but also in my personal life. And when I took this break in February, I really didn't think where I am now is where I would be. So I will be talking more about what I was doing these past 3 months and what my life looks like now in next week's episode. So make sure you tune back in for that, because I have a whole deep dive of what I've been up to, what lessons I've been going through, and what I've been learning these past couple months, and I have it all saved up for future episodes. But this week, it's Memorial Day weekend. I have a long weekend, and I really have a lot of stuff planned. So I am just trying to get this podcast recorded because, like I said, I felt inspired and I wanted to touch base with all of you and get this back up and running and off the ground, because the search for serotonin has not stopped these past 3 months. If anything, these past 3 months have been the journey that I have been striving towards. So my search for serotonin has been continuing. I have all the stories, all the details I will be sharing with you in future episodes. But right now, I'm trying to go get a bagel and coffee and get my ass out in the sun on a hike. So let's get into what inspired me to sit back down, put this microphone back on, and what ultimately led me back to this podcasting journey with all of you. So this weekend, I had my final therapy session with my therapist, who I have been seeing for the last 3 years of my life. I started seeing Tina back in 2020. It was August of 2020. And I started seeing her before this podcast was even a concept. I wanted to start taking my mental health seriously. I wanted to start getting on medication and getting in therapy and trying to live a normal, functioning, non-chaotic life. And at the time, I was like, I'll just get in therapy. I'll do it for a little bit. I'll be fine. I never anticipated to work through some of the things that I did or open up about some of the things that I did. And I never imagined having a therapist as great as Tina. So I've been seeing her every week, basically for the last 3 years. She's helped me process all of my childhood trauma. She has helped me work through, people in my life who I have been taking on their trauma and carrying around and letting that weigh me down. She's helped me process that and set boundaries and be there for people in my life, but without taking on all of that emotional weight and letting it consume me. I have now been able to live my own life and be a support person for others while not suffocating myself, so I can breathe life into my own life and help breathe life into other people's lives. So she's helped me through all of that. She helped me process and go through the trauma from experiencing my sexual assault in 2018. And that is something I never thought I would own up to or work through or acknowledge or process. And, she has gotten me to the point where I am not only able to handle and live through what happened to me, but I'm able to get back out there, live the life that I've been trying to live, feel confident in myself again, love myself, love my life, and do some pretty amazing work around sexual violence that I would have never been able to do if I didn't open up and process what I've been holding on to. And on top of that, I'm still writing my book. I am still writing my poetry book, processing and describing, my emotions through my healing process of recovering from sexual assault. So she has given me so much and more that I never thought I would do. And I can't thank her enough. I cried so much yesterday when I had to say goodbye to her because I could no longer see her due to some of the circumstances that I will be discussing in upcoming episodes. But yeah, yesterday was my last time seeing her, and we cried so much because she not only has helped me so much, but I've also helped her. And she just thanked me for the connection that we have developed over the past 3 years. She's been with me through the pandemic. She's been with me through buying my house, starting my first business, starting my podcast, breaking my foot and going through that whole journey. And now she helped me through one of the biggest life changes I've ever experienced. And she has just been such a positive light in my life. And I'm going to miss her. And I loved everything she's done for me. But I was talking about this with Corbin this past weekend after I finished my last session with Tina. Even though I was upset and it was hard and it was another big change I was going through, I feel like I'm in a point in my life where what I did with her the past 3 years has gotten me to a place where I can actually feel at peace and enjoy myself and enjoy my life and manage things very well. And I don't feel like I'm in this place of chaos constantly. Like I can just exist peacefully. And I told Corbin, I'm like, this is what a good therapist should do. They should make you feel this way, make you feel like you don't need them anymore. Like I can walk away from these past 3 years, sad that I'm not going to get to see her every week, but feel confident that I don't need to rely on a therapist so heavily. I can do it on my own. And now with that being said, I'm not, ditching therapy completely. I'm not getting rid of my medication. I am setting up with a new psychiatrist. I'm going to revisit the conversation surrounding my medication with them. So I'm going to see if they can give me a little bit of an updated plan, maybe reduce some of my medication just because I'm not loving how high of a dosage I'm on. And since I have been feeling better and I feel like I've been managing things well, I don't want to rely as much on a medication. I don't want to quit cold turkey because it does still help me fix what's going on in my brain chemically that I can't fix on my own. But knowing that I don't need to depend on it as much, knowing that I can have that balance of me and a little bit of medication. And then I'm going to try and see if I can get a therapist that I can touch in with like once a month. Based on what's going on in my life right now, I don't think I need weekly sessions. So still, I will have a psychiatrist and a therapist. I just might not be as heavily involved in therapy as I was before, because like I said, Tina did the job that she needed to do. She helped me and she gave me the tools and she set me up to live this life and continue on my journey and find happiness in every aspect of my life and know that I can do it, on my own. Not only did I do the work and I put in the time these past 3 years in therapy and working through everything, but I also had a really great support system between my therapist and my family and Corbin. I was able to do what I needed to do to now be at a place in my life where I can say I'm happy and I can say I feel good and I wake up wanting to get out of bed, enjoying my life, loving the space that I'm in, the environment that I'm in, and the life that I've created for myself. So yeah, these past couple months have been a lot of highs and definitely a lot of lows. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that when I explain to you guys what I have been going through. Trust me, even though I was like, I'm done podcasting, I'm not coming back. That was my doubt getting in the way, but I've been taking notes and kind of tracking my feelings these past 3 months so that when I did feel confident and ready to sit back down and start this podcast up, I would have, real-time emotions to discuss with you guys about what I have been managing and balancing these past couple months. So, all right, I think that is where I'm going to end it today. I just wanted to do a short little episode, say, hey, I'm not dead and I'm coming back. I promise you guys I'm coming back. And here I am, back better than ever and ready to just continue this journey of searching for serotonin with you guys. I know my old format of the podcast was very heavily focused on segments, and I did Therapy Think, which was a huge segment that I relied on each week. Since I won't be doing weekly therapy, I think I'm going to switch up the format and just have these kind of quick conversations with you guys where I sit down, just very raw, very candid, cutting out the performance and the production of the podcast, like that aspect of trying to do the most and just keeping it real, keeping it casual, keeping it raw, and just navigating my life on my own, me being my own therapist and having these moments to connect with you guys. So I really love to hear from any of you. If you have been longtime listeners of the podcast, head over to the Search For Serotonin on Instagram. Go ahead and give me a follow so you can stay up to date with the podcast. But more importantly, I want you guys to send me a DM, reach out to me, let me know what you guys have been up to in your own mental health journeys these past 3 months, because I've been going through it. I want to check in with you guys. I still want to build this community. I really have missed sharing with you guys and talking to you guys and having this online community that I really do love, because finding people who relate and go through what I go through has been really helpful for me in my own journey. So giving myself the time to step back, take a little break, get a fresh headspace, I am now ready to connect with all of you. So let me know what you've been up to, how your mental health has been doing. And if you have any questions for me about ending my therapy journey and switching into this new gear and new chapter of my life, DM me those questions on Instagram, and maybe I will read some of them on the pod if any of you reach out, and we can start doing more of a conversation-based episode format. So if you guys send in questions, I'll share them on the podcast. I can talk to everybody about them. And then that way, if you guys are struggling or need any additional support or help, I'm not a professional. I'm someone who's out here going through the same stuff. So if that's something that would make you guys feel better, reach out, because I'm always here. I'm down to listen. I am down to offer any advice that I have, experienced, stuff that's worked for me, even though it's not professional advice. Sometimes just finding somebody who is in a similar situation can be really comforting, and I know how that feels. So don't hesitate to reach out. All right, I have a hike to go to, and like I said, I need some coffee and I need a fat bagel sandwich. So that is all for this week. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, you guys, and I will see you back here next Monday. Always remember, this world is better with you in it. Bye.